Hi, Daniel.
Thank you very much. Apologies for turning up halfway through your speech.
You've been forgiven.
So, in terms of being nervous to speak, this is something I found, it doesn't happen to the extent that disables me, if that makes sense. There's nervousness, there's excitement, there's adrenaline, but it doesn't kick in to a point where I'm like, I don't want to do this. So when Elliot mentioned, you haven't done enough, like, someone did mention, sorry, you need to push yourself, you need to broaden your horizons. What can you do to push that boundary of not being that scared to just walk on stage and start talking? Like, how do you push that out so much?
Is that both of us? Or?
Elliot, I think it was you said it.
Okay, did I say it? I think so. For me, it's all a matter
He
of...
was talking about his crotch for 10 minutes.
So mesmerized by my crutch. For me, especially if you're up and coming or you're new, it's that old cliche. It's all about practice, practice, practice. But when I practice, except for certain things you can't control, practice what can go wrong. So when I used to drill and I used to practice people shouting. I used to practice, in my mind. I go, what if someone says this there, and how would I respond? And I literally stand there talking to the wall, dealing with tricky situations. And that's for me, because the more you practice, a bit like driving, right? The more you're aware and you become unconsciously capable, then the more you can deal with things when things go wrong. And that's what I would say. Michael?
I would add to it that just like with lots of other things in life, if we were to wait until we are 100% ready to do something, we would never do anything. So, no amount of training that is not based around practicing public speaking, no amount of training that you can do, books you can read, YouTube videos you can watch, and watching other speakers can prepare you for that. So I would say if you want to make it easier for yourself, start with a smaller audience. So like my first audience was around 10, 12 people, and my hands were shaking. I was keeping them under the table, so I was lucky I could sit, and there was a table. It was like a meetup event I used to run. And hundreds events later, I got a call about speaking to 100 people, and I felt the same way I felt before speaking to 10, because I became comfortable speaking to 10. So, like I was saying earlier, maybe I was, before you came, that even though I spoke from the stage or from the carpet so many times, I still experience that, and I don't think it will ever disappear. It's diminishing over time with experience, but I don't think I'm not even hoping that one day it will disappear completely. I'll wake up in the morning like, I'm speaking today, and there's no nervousness whatsoever, So you can see I'm waffling. You can see someone looking very confident on the stage, and if you compare how they look on the outside to how you feel on the inside, you're like, shit, they're great, and I suck. But the idea is to compare yourself how you feel on the inside to how they feel on the inside, and the only way to find out is to ask them. Or when someone just openly talks about things like we were talking about, it's like, hey, you know what, it's not just me, it's just a normal feeling that I'm experiencing. It's 52% of people are afraid of public speaking. It's the biggest fear human beings have. 52.
Probably even more.
After dating a German, that's the next biggest fear.
I'd say if you're still here in the second half, do the minute. Okay. It might be the worst minute in the world. And we had a girl, I remember a couple of years ago, she stood there for a minute because she went blank. But she just held her space, not knowing what to say. And that was beautiful. Good.
Well,
more questions.
Thanks, Daniel.
Who else? The back.
Michael, I love what you spoke about, self-confidence and believing in yourself. I think it's an incredibly important part of life. So for people that maybe aren't as confident as you, or other confident people, what tips do you give people to say, right, look, I really want to get to the true essence of who I am, because I think it's important to project that in life. So what sort of advice would you give?
And advice, please, without waffling.
Okay. You go, Eddie.
No, I'll shoot. Over to you.
So, let me answer it as fast as I can. Make a list of the things you're afraid of, and then focus on doing those things. And usually the things we most desire are also the same list. What is it that you most desire, and what is it that you're most afraid of? Usually it's the same list. And there is no, as we were talking about public speaking thing, there's no shortcut. You just have to push through it, that initial fear. It's always there. When there's something new, something out of your comfort zone, there's always going to be fear. You have to push through it. You can model yourself your whole life on other people, do all sorts of courses, but there will be a point you're going to have to push yourself. Practical, very practical too. Say to 100 people on social media or 1,000 people with 1,000 friends, hey, I'm going to do this. Make your audience, your friend list, hold you accountable. Like that. I'm going to do this on Friday. And then once you say it, it's like, fuck, there's no going back now. Or just say to me, and if you don't do it, I'll call you a pussy. That should work.
So we all have permission to call Nick something. Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, you answer.
Okay. So for me, look, it's understanding the balance, that where there's areas you're not confident in, there's areas you are confident and incredibly confident. Even people are very confident that they're not confident. They're like, hey, I'm not confident. You confident about that? Yes. Right? So clearly you're confident in your inconfidence. So it is very much about how do you take resources from where you are confident and shift them to it. And a lot of that is about falling down. It's about practicing. It's about putting yourself out there. But also there's lots of stuff, and there's plenty of coaches in the room to get you prepared, to do it in a safe environment. That's why PONIE was formed, to get speakers, to give them a safe environment to get it wrong, so when they go out there they can deal with it when they get it wrong, and hopefully not get it wrong. But it's about equipping yourself to be able to do that. The other thing is, I would say, is the biggest barrier to confidence, or one of this is my opinion, some will always go, no, is judgment, right? And it's understanding what part of the judgment is actually real and what part of it isn't, and how much of it is someone else's voice. Because at the core of it, judgment really is someone's strong opinion, even if it's your voices in your head. So when you tie into something that's greater than you, judgment subsides. So judgment often isn't real. It's just literally something that you can choose to accept or not. Michael's very good at it. He's like, do you know what? I don't give a fuck. This is who I am, right? It's the same. This is my message as a speaker, as a coach, as a business owner, as an investor, whatever you're going to be. Some people will love you. Some people will hate you. Focus on those who love you. Shit on those who hate you. No, I'm kidding, right? But, but use it as a stepping stone. And that's what I'd add to that.
Does it answer your question?
I never swear this much.
No, I
It's weird.
Say, guys, honestly, until the end of May, swear, free yourself up. You know what? They will be around in the break. Let's give them another clap. Woo!